I'm going to start with the sound that still wakes me up at night. The squeak of a sponge on cold stone, the snap of a voice that like to hurt a whisper. I almost didn't hear Daddy, my hand hurts. I hadn't told anyone I was flying home early. Door-click's suitcase still by the mat, and there was Anna on her knees with a bucket of bleached skin, peeled raw, cheek flushed from a slap. Clarice stood above her like a queen in a magazine, heels ticking like a metronome. Get up. Again. I didn't say much. Just crossed the floor, knelt, lifted my daughter's chin, counted bruises. You don't see in family photos, felt the world narrow to a point. Clarice smiled without warmth. Don't be dramatic, Richard. She lies. She plays the victim. She's not even your blood. Something in me went quiet. The kind of quiet that isn't calm at all. Pack your things, I said. You're leaving. She looked past me at the staff hovering in the doorway, then back at Anna with this cold little promise in her eyes. You'll regret this. Maybe I thought, but I'm done regretting the wrong things. That basement room told the story better than any lawyer. No window, no heat. A cot that remembered every shiver, crayon drawings taped to wet concrete. A unicorn with a broken horn and one strong wing. I set Anna down. She hid the wince like practice. I'm fine, I swear. I didn't want to make trouble. You know that moment when you stop being who people expect and become who your kid needs? That was mine. I called Dr. Lansing, then my attorney, then security, then I turned on every light in that house because shame loves the dark. We made a deal while we waited. Pancakes tomorrow, chocolate chips, and blueberries. Both, she said. Both, I promised. Dr. Lansing was gentle the way good doctors are with scared kids. Sprained wrist, chemical irritation, signs of malnourishment, he said quietly in the hall. I'll file tonight. I carried Anna upstairs to the master suite, tucked her in under thick sheets, moved a chair against the door, because she asked if we could lock it twice. Are you staying? She said. All night, I told her. And I did suit still on lights low, listening for footsteps that never came. Morning felt different, safer, like the house exhaled. We ate pancakes. She wore socks with bears, and when the bell rang too early, I already knew who it was. Clarice in sunglasses on my porch lip, still bruised from the slap I should have thrown months ago. You hit me, she hissed. You abused my daughter, I said, voice flat. I want to see her. No, I said, you lost that the minute you put bleach in a bucket and made a 6-year-old use her bare hands. She's not yours, she snapped. She's a charity badge. She's mine by choice, I said, which is stronger than blood. She tried to shoulder past me. I didn't move. She went back to her car with those crisp little steps angry people use when they still think they're winning. Behind me, Anna stood in the library doorway with cocoa on her lip, eyes searching my face like it was a weather report. Is she coming back? Not past the gate, I said, and meant it. Then came the part nobody glamorizes. The interviews, the paperwork, the photos, a child services officer with the tired eyes of someone who's seen too much and not enough change. Anna drew while we talked. A unicorn again, one wing bent, one wing strong. Who's the strong one? The officer asked. That's Daddy. Anna said, simple as a fact. Reporters found our lawn before lunch the next day, microphones like bees, headlines that taste like rubber, billionaire abuse race custody, everyone an expert on a life they don't live. I stepped out once with my attorney, said the only line that felt true. This is not about scandal, it's about a child's safety, then went inside and learned to cook grilled cheese the way a 6-year-old approves. Court is colder than movies. Marble whispers the clock that doesn't move. Judge Pennington ran a tight room. Clarice wore navy and pearls, that posture that says, I'm the victim here. Her lawyer tried to turn my grief into a weapon. He's unstable, Your Honor. He needs a stand-in for the daughter he lost. Our side was facts, not theater. Dr. Lansing explained the injuries, the timing, the way fear shows up in a small body. James, our butler, stood and said the words that hurt to say I was scared of her. I looked away, I told myself. Mr. Claymore knew he didn't. When he did, he acted. During recess, I sat with Anna in the courtyard. She drew a new unicorn with both wings almost even. What if they don't believe us, she said. Then we come back tomorrow, I told her, and the next day. Justice gets tired, we won't let it sleep. That was before the smear machine turned on full blast. Edited clips from therapy, a blurry school photo sold for cash, an anonymous ex-housekeeper praising firm discipline. Yeah, that happened. For a day, the noise got loud. Then our investigator followed the money payments from a shell company tied to Clarice, a payoff to a tabloid broker, even a disbarred fixer named Pike floating in the background like a bad rumor. A mail carrier came forward on her own and said she'd heard a little girl whisper she had to earn dinner. The wind shifted, not because we were rich, but because the truth had receipts. The twist came meaner. Security footage put Clarice outside Anna's school in a parked car, watching waiting, violating the no-contact order she'd already sworn to obey. We turned that tape in before lunch. By dinner, a warrant was signed. By the next morning, she was walking out of a hotel in cuffs while a man in a suit yelled "set up" to cameras that didn't believe him. I didn't celebrate. I made spaghetti extra butter on the noodles because you mark the right victories with full plates and early bedtimes, not champagne. The trial that followed felt like watching a bad roof give way in slow motion. On day 2, the court allowed a recorded statement from Anna in a calm room, no a therapist present. She said her name, her age, talked about the basement and the sponge and the sentence no child should know. She said people like me should be invisible. Then she looked at the camera and said, Dad picked me up like I was his real daughter, and I am. You could feel the room change when the judge watched it, like the temperature dropped and the excuses froze where they sat. On day 3, we played a video from a bar weeks before all this, Clarice with Pike, her voice low and careless. He thinks he's saving her. I just need one mistake. No one clapped. It wasn't that kind of moment. It was a brick dropping, then another, then the roof. The verdict was clean. Guilty on child endangerment, obstruction, falsifying evidence, intimidation. Sentencing set for a month later. 20 years parole after 15, no contact. It didn't feel like triumph. It felt like a door finally closing on a room we'd all suffocated in. Back home, Anna walked into the piano room she used to tiptoe past, pressed one key, then another, asked, "Can I call you Daddy now?" "You always could," I said, and meant it in every tense. The house stayed quiet that night in the good way. Sheets, warm, dogs snoring, a kid who slept all the way through until morning, like her body finally believed me. Real life kept happening. Some days she needed the chair by her bed, some days she ran barefoot through the yard. Some days a kid at school said something cruel they'd heard at a table where grown-ups should have known better. We built new routines, therapy on Tuesdays, pancakes on Sundays, small rituals that tell your nervous system it's safe to come home. Anna started a little group with her counselor at the library, drawings and stories and snacks for kids who have been told to be tough when what they needed was to be soft. I stood in rooms I'd avoided for years and talked about accountability with people who write laws, not because I enjoy microphones, but because I've seen what happens when we trust systems to fix themselves. And here's the part that will split a comment section. I got a letter from Clarice, the kind that says sorry without naming what, for a story about her childhood, a plea for understanding. I read it twice, put it in a drawer, went to tuck my kid in. Do I believe people can change? Sure, I have to. I changed. But change without repair is just rebranding. The system that let this happen has faces and signatures and promotions, not just villains in pearls. If my last name didn't unlock doors, would Anna be safe today, or would we still be waiting in a hallway for someone to take us seriously? You know what I mean? I'll end where I started. With that little voice in a cold room, Daddy, my hand hurts, and the promise that grew out of it, the one I mean under my breath, when I pass her door at night, I choose my daughter over my reputation, over my comfort, over my fear every time. If this story hit you, talk to me. Drop a comment. What counts as discipline? Where you live, where's the line between strict and cruel? Have you seen a kid get silenced and said nothing? What would make you step in next time? Do you believe in second chances, and what should they cost? Share this if you think one person who needs it might feel braver after hearing it. I'll be in there reading, learning, and fighting like a dad who finally showed up.